Today is yesterday was officially the start of Sober October. I've done it the last year. I'm going to do it this year. So I'm pretty excited. Just because it's just a break from alcohol, which, I mean, I don't drink a whole lot, but I definitely should be cutting down on my alcohol intake. So pretty excited. I'm also, during this time, gonna start working out again. I still have the Big Sur full marathon. We finished pretty much everything else. I'm probably gonna knock the 5K out this week, but we've finished everything else. All that's left is the Big Sur marathon. So that's what we got to do, and I'm pretty amped about it. Ready to knock it out. I'm just gonna give it about 2 weeks. One, because the fires are still blazing, which is not cool. And two, I think myself and Alonzo need a little bit of time to rest our bodies instead of trying to push it. So that's it. But during that time, I'm going to be working out and I'm going to be lifting. I'm going to try and get back to my regular training. The only issue is I'm trying to find more weights. And as most of you know, during quarantine, the price of weighted plates and barbells and dumbbells and pretty much all fitness equipment have gone up. I don't know how much they've jumped up by, but I know maybe two rubber plates of 45s will cost you just over $300, which is insane when you think about last year how much dumbbells and plates cost. So not fun, not cool, but that's what happens when you have a supply chain shortage. So whatevs. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. All right. Yo, what's up, guys? Today is October 15th. It is 4 in the morning. Today is the day of the big race, the last final race in my series of races for this Big Sur virtual race. I'm pretty excited. I'm anxious. I'm energized. I honestly don't know what to feel, guys. This is the last race. It's a full marathon, 26.2 miles, something I've never done before. And yeah, I have all sorts of emotions right now at 4 in the morning. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Originally, it was just going to be me running this because my buddy Alonzo wasn't going to be able to make it. But now I have found out that he can make this race, so that's awesome. I have another person helping me out. So yeah, pretty stoked for that. Honestly, guys, I just kind of want to walk you guys through my mindset right now. I've gotten to a point where I get really anxious before races, and I don't know why. I have this thing where I just get anxious before races. And for me, the last 2 days have been really kind of rough for me because I just have this thing in my head where I think of like the worst possible case scenario. I think you guys have all been in that situation where you think of the worst possible case scenario. Like, oh, when I start the race, I might feel bloated because I ate too much the night before, because I was carb loading or whatever the case is, or at mile 16, like when I ran my last 21 miler, my legs started to give out, and it was really a question of, can I keep going further? Is this safe? I have other doubts where, maybe my pace is gonna completely suck, and I'll just kind of shit the bed on race day. And so all these things are going through my mind the past couple of days. And even at work, I was just distracted, and I was talking to coworkers, and I could kind of just feel it like growing and lingering inside of me. And thanks to, I've been meditating a lot these past couple months, and kind of like gain a new skill through meditation, and really focus on the technique of just like internalizing these feelings and bringing them out, and kind of looking and evaluating it, like, how do I actually feel in the moment? There's something called visualization, which I've been doing a lot of, and I was really just kind of visualizing the situation, and I thought about it, and to me it was so silly because I really am worrying about this damn race this entire time, and I'm not even focused on the big pictures that, like, the race is 2 or 3 days out. Like, all this anxious anxiety and this feeling, like all of this, I mean, it comes with the race, but also, like, it really is all in your head. And that's something I was realizing last night, because normally before a race or anything big, I remember back in high school football games, I cannot sleep. Like, I can't sleep the day before. I get so anxious and I think about all these things. And last night I really had an epiphany, and I was like, well, I'm laying in bed, I'm not at the actual race. As of right now, I feel okay, so I should not be worrying about all these things that are going on, because they haven't happened yet. None of this has happened yet. And so, yeah, I was able to get some damn sleep, so I felt amazing. And that's probably something I'm going to use later on in the future to kind of get me through things. But I'm so glad I thought about that. So yeah, guys, that's kind of my that was kind of my little rant this morning, and I was really thinking about how that helped me out. So if you guys are ever in a situation where you feel very anxious about a certain event that's coming up, or maybe you feel as though you may not be best prepared, just understand that these are all moments in life. And for me, that moment laying in bed thinking about that was a moment, and I understood that I will feel a certain way come time for the race, and that's okay, because that's going to be in the future. And at that moment I felt okay, and really all the anxiety and stress kind of went away. So yeah, anyways, guys, I'm looking forward to this race. I'm driving right now. I'm headed to Monterey. This is the last location of the race. We're starting in Marina, I believe, and we're finishing off right around the Carmel Mission. It'll be, I think the route is set to 27 or 28 miles. Of course, the last mile or two will be a slowdown. It'll be really just to cool off after that continuous race. So feeling pretty amped about it. Yeah, just headed there right now. So I'll get some pretty good shots for you guys right now of where I'm going. As soon as the sun comes out, it's still 4 in the morning, it's still dark. So yeah, it honestly reminds me of my days when I used to go to college, when I used to drive out to Fresno. I'd wake up hella early, probably like 5 in the morning, and leave. So this is kind of the same route I'm taking. All right, guys, well, to be continued, I guess. All right, guys, so we're here in Marina right now. We're heading right now to the starting point here with the baby Lonzo, looking all cute and shit. About to get this full marathon on today, the final race in the series of races. Bittersweet moment. This is the last one this year, but finally happy to get this knocked out of the way. We've been postponing it due to the fires and other stuff, so it's good to come out today and get this one for the books. And now we have a base point for whatever marathon we run next. We'll know what time to beat and all the other stuff. So, and it's a beautiful day today. It's so amazing out. It's crazy beautiful. My apologies to whoever lives here. I don't mean to record your house. So, yeah, guys, we're excited. We're headed to the start line right now. Keep you guys updated. All right, let's get it. Good luck, bud. Stay strong, keep your pace, you'll make it through. It's all left up to us to change.
Hope of the world is in our ocean. It's all left up to us to change its presence. Hope of the world is
Put it in my backpack.
It's all left up to us to change
What a fucking start. These shorts are, they have a loose in the pocket. I felt it go out and I was like, wow, it's a little lighter. Okay, thank you, sir.
Hope of the world is in our generations. It's all left up to us to change this present situation. How the world with love and get rid of all the hate. Our elders taught us one thing, but practice another. Just look what happened to the Indian and the brother. It's all left up to us to change this presence. It's all left up to us to change the Indian and the brother. Well, the world is in our ocean. It's all left up to us to change this presence.
Yo, what's up, guys? Today is October 28th. It's a couple weeks after my marathon run, actually 2 to be exact. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about my experience because I didn't get a chance to do it while I was in Monterey, just because I was visiting family and, you know, honestly, I was a little tired, so I didn't want to do it. But I'm here to talk about my experience and kind of give you guys an insight on what it was like to actually run the race. So here it goes. Excuse the wind, it's a very windy day today in Modesto, so I'll add some wind reduction or something in post. So, spent about, I want to say 6 months training for this marathon. Everything was great until all the fires happened here in California, as you guys know. So that did really set me back a bit in terms of training. So there's about an entire month I didn't really get in, which is no excuse because, you know, ran the marathon, so I wasn't gonna quit because of that. But it was very insightful, and I thought about, you know, if I had that extra month, how better prepared could I have been? But in terms of the marathon, it was great. We started off right in Marina, and we were gonna finish right by Carmel by the Sea. I think it's where the ocean and the river kind of meet. We finished like right there. And so, yeah, that's what we did. We met up early in the morning around 7:30, warmed up, and got started. And so my experience was probably a little bit more different than my buddy Alonso's experience. Unfortunately, he didn't finish the race, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. But as for me, I started off strong. I felt kind of great. I will say that in the early stages, maybe about the first 5 to 7 miles, I was feeling very, not sluggish, but I was feeling a little uneasy because I had ate a little bit more than excuse me, as I'm burping. I had eaten a little bit more than I should have. So that may have not been the best decision. But yeah, so started the race off strong. I started the race off strong. It was probably right around mile 10 or 12 when I had gotten a little bit past Pebble Beach. Well, not past Pebble Beach, excuse me. Right before Pebble Beach is when I reached that mile. I believe so. It's kind of hard to remember. But I was still feeling good, feeling great. And it wasn't until I got to Pebble Beach is when things started to kind of take a turn. So early in the morning, it was very hot, abnormally hot, like Modesto weather hot. And I should have done my due diligence and really looked at the weather before I had started, because it was 90 degrees that day in Monterey, which is very unheard of, especially for the Bay Area. So that's pretty crazy. But I filled my camel pack up halfway, and that ended up biting me in the ass in the end. So yeah, right around Pebble Beach, right around the time I got to Pebble Beach, started to fill up my body with some water. Maybe I was drinking a little too fast. But right around 17-mile drive, I ran out of water, which kind of sucked. And from there on, it was pretty much downhill. But I just wanted to talk about one of the experiences of running a marathon and kind of the mindset behind that. So for me personally, all these runs I've done have been very personal. I've done them for my own reasons. One of the reasons is just my grandmother passed away from ALS, and so a lot of these runs are kind of dedicated to her in her memory. And for me, it was probably right around like miles 15 or 16 when I hit that wall, that runner's wall. If you've ever run a marathon, you know what I'm talking about. If you've run a half marathon, you may know what I'm talking about. There's this wall every runner pretty much gets to, where your body starts to just not shut down, but it starts to fatigue, and it's a real pain in the ass, especially if you're trying to push through. And for me, I hit it pretty hard, and I remember stopping probably like right near the golf course. I was in the golf course, I know that for a fact. I just passed 17-mile drive, the little sign, and I was in the golf course, and I remember thinking in my head, like, holy crap, I hit this wall pretty hard. I'm out of water, and I'm just not feeling all that great. And I was a little pissed off because I thought my training was enough. Obviously it wasn't enough. It was also 90 degrees. But I want to talk about that mindset, because for me, in that particular moment, the thought of quitting was it was there. Definitely was. The demons. I tell about everyone when I finished the marathon, there was like these demons that were like hounding me, you know, telling me to stop, every reason in the book to quit. And it's a very scary feeling knowing that, at least for me, knowing that I was gonna quit. And that almost did happen. I won't lie, that almost did happen. And I was sitting there kind of thinking about, first trying to recover, and second trying to think about, you know, different ways in which I could play this out on social media and say, you know what, I sprained my ankle, or I did this, or I did that. And I realized those are all just excuses. And that morning when I set out to finish the full marathon, I was gonna finish my full marathon. And it was just that mindset, having that mindset that, hey, I'm gonna finish regardless. There's no question about it. I'm gonna finish. Even if that means, you know, I'm gonna end up in the hospital, I'm gonna finish. And it was crazy because at that moment, my buddy Alonzo had texted me. He had say, hey, you know, I finished the race, I couldn't do it. You know, I'm headed back to the car. Do you want me to pick you up, or do you need anything? And in my head, it was just unbelievable to me that, and I'm not mad at Alonzo, because I don't think he had enough training, and he's not as big of a runner as I am. But in my head, I was just so angry, because I'm like, how do you give up? How does someone set out to do something and give up? And in that moment, I actually realized that I'm not really ever that person. I've never been that person. And I pretty much always follow things through to the end. And to see my friend give up angered me. And in a way, I kind of realized, like, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed. I needed to see what could happen. And again, not bashing on my friend Alonzo, but he doesn't know what it's like to finish a marathon. In that aspect, it's not he finished, it's, oh, I tried the race and maybe next time. And in my head, I'm not gonna come back to mile 16 and 17. I'm not gonna get back to this point and be like, oh, am I ready again? It was more of like, let's get this shit done. And want to give a big shout out to all of my high school coaches for kind of instilling that in me. But we came out to do something today, and that's what we should have done. So just to reiterate, you're gonna get to a point if you run a marathon where your body's gonna say no, your mind's gonna say no, and you gotta dig deep. I mean, you gotta dig fucking deep, but you can do it, and that's all you gotta tell yourself. You can do it. For me, it was just thinking about my grandma passing away and what that meant to me, my life, and thinking about friends who can't do this due to physical disabilities. My friend Melvin is in a wheelchair, and he'll never know what it's like to run a marathon, but in my head, I was doing this for Melvin, because I know Melvin would love to run a marathon if he could, but he can't, and I feel so blessed that I could have done that. So, to wrap it up, all those thoughts were in my head at that exact moment as I'm sitting down, feeling sorry for myself, because I decided that that day I wanted to run a marathon in a 90-degree weather. But that's not how you should look at things. And I'm thankful for that experience. That experience will always live on in my head. Is kind of an experience where I learned that even in the toughest conditions, your body is so amazing and it can get things done. And so I picked my head up because I definitely was hunched over, and I know my coaches would be disappointed in me, but I picked my head up, got my backpack, and I finished the next 10 miles. And that's the story. That's the story of my first marathon. And I'm so thankful that it didn't go any other way, that I finished the marathon and I didn't quit early. I didn't back down. Sorry, my hair's all funny. That I gave it pretty much my all. And even with all those challenges, I got it done. And I think that's kind of the advice I want to give to everyone when they run a marathon, is that come the day of the race, things are gonna go wrong. You may not foresee any weather changes like I did. You may not have brought enough water like I did. And those are all things you need to consider when you're running the race. During the race is like, at the end of the day, I was out of water. It was 90 degrees. I still had 10 miles to go. I had just finished 16 miles. Was it safe for me to continue? Probably not. My hair. Probably not safe to continue, just because I was already feeling like the early stages of dehydration wasn't great. But I told myself, and I texted my buddy Alonzo, that I would rather be in the hospital than not finish this race. And that's something you really got to tell yourself, is, how bad do you want it? And yeah, that was it. That was the race. And I loved every moment of it, even the really crappy parts, but that was my race. And I'll forever cherish that experience. It was so great. And I recommend everyone at some time in your life, run a marathon, so you can kind of get a grasp on what I'm talking about. It's this incredible, amazing challenge that very few people in their life will ever actually do. Well guys, that was my experience. I hope you liked this little vlog. And yeah guys, let's have a great rest of 2020. Don't wait for 2021 to start new habits or complete a challenge, whatever you want to do. There's still plenty left in this year. All right guys, peace.